Hey, welcome back. So in this video, I wanted to talk about a correlation that exists. Last video, I talked about how the creation of people, having babies, and the way in which people are treating this as though it's just a whimsical fucking joke and just not really thinking about any aspects of it in terms of consequences, in terms of you have more and more people creating people that didn't even really want it. They didn't even really want to be a parent. You have many people doing something as profound as creating people who didn't even think about it and didn't really want it, like the process of it, in terms of not just having a baby, but raising a child and then like trying to prepare your children for the, again, difficulties of being a human being. That's like the biggest, that's really what being a parent is. Like a very simple sort of definition, just trying to prepare your offspring for the eventual severe difficulties, well, eventually, of being a fucking fully developed person. You have more people creating people without really even just even thinking about those sorts of things. Also, like what it means to die. Your children will die eventually, and just that's worth thinking about. It's worth thinking about how big of a deal it is to create a person. In this video, again, I want to talk about a correlation that exists between, so you have that. You have more and more people treating the creation of people as though it's a joke, not attempting to really even just try to adequately prepare their children for being an adult and those sorts of things. And you also have, and you'll continue to see over time, you have more and more people slowly, gradually dying alone, withering away all alone. You have more and more people, and you'll again find more and more people as time goes on slowly dying in hospitals and hospice care and nursing homes. You're going to find people doing that, dying slowly. I don't know what, I've never died. I don't know what it is to die, but I know it's a fucking hell of a thing to have to endure. For many people, that's what it ends up being, a very, very difficult process, to say the least. It's one of the most crucial times, one of the most crucial, intimate times in a person's life. Slowly dying. I don't think very many people would attempt to contest that. Would disagree with that. If you watch people die, you see what that often consists of. At the very least, what can be said about it, it's a hell of a thing to have to die. So you have people doing that, people dying, more and more people dying alone, just with no one who loves them, no one who's there for them emotionally, no one who really cares about them on a personal level, even close to being a personal level. You have more and more people in a very real sense dying isolated, alone. And to put it simply, this correlation and this increase in more and more people treating the creation of people as though it's a fucking joke, and then more and more people slowly dying all alone with no one who cares about them. If you were to, an oversimplification would be a pretty fair description, I think. You have more and more people who are failing their children in what is the other side of the most crucial, intimate time of a human being's life, of our lives as human beings, childhood, the developmental process. You have more and more people failing their own children in a very monumental way at what is easily the most, at the very least, one of the most crucial times in a human being's life, the developmental process. You have more and more people doing that, doing just a shitty fucking job of that. So, understandably, arguably, you have more and more people growing up who just don't even really think much about their own parents as they're slowly dying. They don't bother to visit them. They don't bother to even just check up on them. And in terms of just, phone calls, really relatively simple things that don't take all that much time. You have more and more people doing that, just neglecting their parents in what is, again, arguably, easily, one of the most crucial, intimate, profoundly difficult times in their lives. the dying process, a process that often does take years. It depends on your definition of dying process, right? But it really is a drawn out thing, and it's becoming a more and more drawn out thing as time goes on. So you have more and more people over time treating the creation of people as though it's a fucking joke, not attempting to, even just, again, attempting to do what they can to prepare their own children for life, for the difficulties of being a grown person. And in turn, in contrast, and you have more and more people slowly dying alone. Who, in terms of relationships with others, they don't have like anything. And many people don't like it, understandably. Many people don't like it when you refer to something as profound as having a child as a sort of form of investment. As a sort of like, yeah, if you have a child or if you have children and you do a fucking good job, it'll oftentimes, that relationship will pay off in dividends. And it is true. I mean, and referring to having a child in such a cold and calculated sort of, form of investment. But I really do think that if more people, even just for a moment, thought about that, more biological parents who aren't even bothering to attempt to prepare their children for being an adult, maybe they would care a little bit more. Maybe they would try just a little bit more. If they really took the time to even just briefly consider what it's going to be like to slowly die alone over a period of what often is years. And one of the most intimate, difficult times of a person's life. And it's another good example of just the short-sightedness of many human beings, not even thinking about that, being just a completely shitty fucking parent without even just for a moment thinking, well, this is going to blow up in my face. I'm increasing the odds, significantly increasing the odds of my offspring not giving a single shit about me as I'm slowly dying. Even just taking the time to, call, let alone visit, let alone, many children will financially support their parents as they age. Many children will even allow their parents to live with them as they're in that very, very intimate process. And that is not something that is owed. I don't think. That's not something that they just, automatically owe their parents for the gift of life. No, that would be absurd. And that's a very common cultural belief, I think, that just, by virtue of creating a person, they owe you. Now, many biological parents are not owed a single fucking thing. And I think most people, if they were to really look at the way in which many biological parents, again, treat that, what is one of the most crucial times of a person's life, that developmental process, childhood, if many people were to see the way in which many biological parents, and it's increasing, many biological parents are treating their children at that time in their lives, I don't think that they would attempt to dispute that either. The fact that many biological parents, if free will is a thing, it doesn't look to be, but they are entirely deserving of their fate, slowly dying alone. Many parents, they've sort of just, they can't even attempt to say, well, this isn't right. This isn't fair. So, in short, you have more and more people treating the creation of people as though it's a fucking joke, and that's going up. And you also have more and more people slowly dying alone, which is just dying is a very, very difficult thing for many people. The fact that I even have to say that, and it's going to be, regardless of how much support you have at that time, whether it be financially, emotionally, that's not going to change. It's not going to change that it's going to be a really, really difficult process. But there are many things that'll make it just all the more hellish of an experience, and being completely alone, feeling as though there's no one there in your life that even gives a modicum of a fuck about you, and the nurses that are treating you, that are taking care of you, are doing it, begrudgingly, and you're just a burden, you're just a rotting burden with no one who cares. I think if more people took the time to think about that potential possibility lying in the future, more people would attempt to prepare their children for the hell that they've imposed upon them, bringing them into existence. So that's the summary. I just think that it's a hell of a thing being a person. It's a hell of a thing to die. And if you're going to create someone, if you're going to force them into this, you should do what you can to prepare them for the hell that is to eventually come. And not just in the hopes that they'll sort of attempt to return what might be felt later on as an obligation to take care of you and what will be the other side. Again, one of the most intimate, difficult, profound times of a person's life. Dying. Hell of a thing to do, die. Alright, that's it. That's the video. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. It's beautiful here where I am. I just wanted to share some depressing thoughts in the hopes that maybe some utility will come from. This topic isn't a pleasant one, but you're going to find that many of the most distasteful topics are ones that more people really should take a moment to consider, I think. All right, goodbye. Goodbye.